pregnant women and patients in Cape 3 Point who previously were using canoes to ferry will now heave a sigh of relief. We'll bring you details of that report shortly, but we're told that those pregnant women themselves will ferry themselves to health centers, and they can now heave a sigh of relief following a donation of a tricycle ambulance to the community. The Have Not, a JoyNews hotline documentary, exposed a life of horror that women endure before reaching a health center, with some dying through their way.
Village folks dance their hearts out. It's the Kundum Festival, the traditional dance of the Ahanta people. Welcome to Cape 3 Point, the epicenter of Ghana's oil industry. Here, little things like a good dance is enough to make you happy. But inside, all is not well. It's been nearly 6 years since Ghana began oil exploration, and 9 years since this small town was announced as the landmark point where the oil find was made. Wild political promises in the years that followed raised hopes of what fortunes oil would bring to people, not just here, but the entire country.
When they first found the oil, they came to tell us that a huge industry was coming here. They said we are going to be relocated. And since the oil is here, we'll get a lot of the jobs. That did not happen. Every day they come and interview us. Now we are tired. We used to live on fishing, but now because of the oil exploration, we hardly get fish. Life is tough.
I first came to Cape 3 Point in August of 2007. It was just about the time that oil had been discovered. There was pomp and pageantry, and rightly so, because everybody here thought this small town was on the brink of an industrial boom of some sort. Many of the young people I met at the time had big ambitions. Now, though, the same people that I've met seem to be struggling to land the oil jobs they so dreamed about.
Esther Yeboah was just 12 years when I first met her here in 2007. She told me of her dreams of being a nurse. Now she's 21, 3 years out of high school, and has tried and failed to make it beyond that. Now she has a baby too.
Even my mother regrets taking me through school because I don't have a job. I'm still a burden on her. She hoped I'll get a job in this industry after school so I can help her too. I feel bad. Life in Cape 3 Points is hard. A lot of the young people are not going to school because they see no future. A lot of people think there's money here because of the oil, but nothing has changed. There's noise about Oil City, but there's nothing here.
Esther's story is just one of many in Cape 3 Point. Poverty levels are high, and with a teeming youth population with few opportunities to build their capacities, there seems to be no way out.
We failed to, send the right signal as a nation. One was the fact that we should have communicated clearly to citizens that this oil is not in the quantities that can transform the economy significantly, so that people would have known that they shouldn't put their hopes high. We should also have communicated that this sector would not employ widely, so that people would not have high expectation. We should also manage expectation in terms of local development, because apart from Cape 3 Points, there are several communities that thought that there will be development in those areas. So we should have, managed these information at that point. We were going for elections, and most of the political campaigns was on what we would do with our oil money and things like that, still raising higher expectation. And I would say that still politicians are still in the mood of raising expectation relative to oil and gas.
New oil fields have been discovered since the Jubilee find, and at least $3 billion has come to government in oil revenues in the last 6 years. But for many Ghanaians closest to the oil activity like Cape 3 Point, they can only keep hopes alive to feel a trickle down of oil money in their lives soon. Justice Beidou, Joy News, Cape 3 Points.
Well, joining me on the phone line is Justice Beidou, our own multimedia reporter. Congratulations, Justice. How does this make you feel?
I think for a lot, we tell usually for us to basically bring stories from the grassroots to the front line, so that the government and the entire country gets to know of what the issues are. And so when some of these interventions come through, it only sort of comes as icing on the cake. For us, the biggest objective is to highlight the issues. And the problem is issues of maternal health and poor roads that are linking to resource-rich communities is not something that is exclusive only to Cape 3 Points. I mean, we travel day and night across the country, and everywhere you go, we are greeted with all of these stories of people complaining about the nature of their roads, the lack of hospitals, places where people can go and have quality health care. And so, for me, this intervention for someone and a private person at that to present this token to the community at least could help save some lives in a community where the entire village has just 2 vehicles. And so if the 2 of them aren't working, or if the 2 vehicles leave the town and there's an emergency case where someone has to be taken urgently to a proper healthcare facility, it is basically impossible to do. And so I think with this coming through, it's going to serve as a game changer. It's a real life-saving intervention.
But Justice, does this solve the challenges completely, or there are other things that need to be done?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, the bigger problem is that the entire Cape 3 Points community is a community that is cut off from the rest of the communities close to it in the district. And so you have about 30 kilometers of road that is in a terrible condition. And for the people who were able to watch the have-not documentary, you would have seen the horrific nature of the road, and you would have seen at first and the sort of horror that people, patients, ordinary people, market women, and at worst, people who are sick and need health attention have to go through enduring the traveling on this road to be able to get to have something as basic as healthcare. And so it is a real challenge that needs a sustainable solution from government. And when I say sustainable solution, I mean government coming in to invest to fix the road once and for all, and to ensure that these communities are connected to the rest of the world, and that if you live there, your life, your quality of life is not reduced only because you chose not to live in an urban city.
Well, I guess we would have to follow up on this till we get results. Many thanks to you. Justice Beidou is a multimedia journalist, and indeed it shows that Joy News gets results with its story.